When a God create us, why didn't create we are all half pops?
Because we need to feed the baby. This is biological differences. You think the boobs are there just to turn guys on?
Yeah, this episode gets weird, so strap in. We meet someone who finally calls Mahmoud out on all of his rules, and he does not handle it well, as you can see. Nicole has finally made a friend in Egypt, and she's a terrible influence. And by terrible, I mean awesome, absolutely awesome. All of Mahmoud's conditions for Nicole are about to get obliterated using pure logic, and it's quite the sight to see.
Nouran is like the worst girl ever I met in my life, I think.
Mahmoud has finally met his match. But before we get into the thick of it, let's go back to the start. So we left Nicole and Mahmoud sweeping their insane fight under the rug with the help of Mahmoud's brother Ahmed. But it's obvious that these two are going to blow up again. It's only a matter of time, because the bickering has already begun.
Did you sleep well?
Yeah, I did. The air conditioner helps a lot.
Yeah, you train all 24 hours, I know.
It's because it's hot.
Okay, my love.
It's summer in Egypt, and Nicole is struggling with the heat. But Mahmoud can't help himself. He can't help but have a little jab in one of his uniquely irritating, passive-aggressive ways. It's exactly these sorts of comments that sent Nicole over the edge last time, so he should know what to expect, and he better be careful.
Always picking at me, and I'm tired of it. He says it like behind the scenes, like so that like no one's paying attention, and nothing's ever good enough for him. Like, I've had it.
Now, Nicole has made it to 4 months in Egypt, which is twice as long as she lasted last time. But their solutions to solving their problems is to just not talk about them.
We basically agreed to just stop talking about our problems for now until we figure out how to properly do it in a healthy way.
It doesn't take an expert to realise that this isn't going to fix anything. These two are just delaying the inevitable. In fact, let me channel my inner psychic and tell you exactly what I predict will happen again. They're going to bottle up their feelings until something small sets one of them off. They'll scream at each other. Nicole will threaten to leave Egypt again. Mahmoud will want her to go. And then probably Ahmed will have to sweep in and calm them down. That is until the whole cycle begins again. So how can this be stopped? Well, for a start, Nicole can start to do things by herself, live her own life. Like, for example, going to meditation classes.
I really need to find a way to actually go out on my own without Mahmoud for the first time since coming to Egypt.
Deep inhale.
It's good to see just how much Nicole has grown since the last episode. She seems to be finding her feet a little in Egypt, whereas in the last episode she seemed to really struggle to make it out of the hotel lobby. Here she is navigating Cairo and attending a group meditation class.
Online, I found a women's only meditation class since I knew that Mahmoud wouldn't like it if I went to something where there's like men and women.
Nicole is showing the perfect amount of compromise here. She's taking into account Mahmoud's beliefs without completely sacrificing what she wants. Meditation is also making Nicole rediscover the feelings that made her fall in love with Egypt in the first place. And between you and me, I'm sure the meditation is also helping her to forget the stress she's feeling back at home.
I am worthy as I am. I am strong. I am brave. I can express myself freely. I am enough.
Why does it feel like the instructor's positive affirmations were written specifically for Nicole? Nicole has told us numerous times that Mahmoud makes her feel like she's never enough, like she's not worthy of him. And we know that his rules about clothing have also stifled her self-expression. And for that reason, given how specific to her these affirmations seem to be, they really resonate with Nicole, and she begins to get emotional.
Slowly open your eyes and see the beautiful world around you.
Sure, it might not be the ideal setting, but this is actually healthy for Nicole. She needs to cry. She needs to let out all those emotions that have been bottled up. Like she's been encouraged not to talk because it will cause a fight. She's been keeping it all squashed up, bottled up inside, and it needs a way to come out. Now, back home in the States, Nicole kind of gave off the impression that she didn't really confide in her friends and family. But out here in Egypt, she has no one, and I bet that's a connection she's desperately missing.
Hey, it's my first time to see you here.
Hi.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from America. I just moved here to live with my husband.
Oh, let's sit and chat.
Now, the meditation instructor, Nouran, notices Nicole's emotion and she pulls her aside for a chat after class. Nicole seems almost dazed after the meditation. Maybe she's just coming back to reality, or maybe she's caught completely unaware by how casually Nouran approaches her. After all, keep in mind, nothing has been easy and casual since she arrived in Egypt. Even sitting at a cafe or meeting up with friends at a restaurant, going for a swim, it all came with rules for her. Could it really be this easy to make a friend?
Where are you staying?
I stay with his mother and him in Faisal.
Wow, that's a pretty conservative area.
Very conservative.
Nouran confirms what we've known for quite some time, that Mahmoud and his family are more conservative than most Egyptians. It's good to hear this from a local, and it's also good for Nicole to learn a bit more about the other side of Cairo.
There are like two sides of Cairo. There's the super, like the open-minded areas, and there's the conservative areas. Most of my friends are not covered. We go to bars, we can drink, we can dance.
Wow, it's like a whole new world. A whole new world that Mahmoud has never shown Nicole. Has Mahmoud been deliberately hiding that side of Cairo from Nicole? Or is it a part of the city that he himself doesn't know that well either? I mean, it's certainly suspicious, isn't it? It's his city where he's grown up all his life. The fact that he hasn't taken his foreign wife there yet, even though it would make her feel more like home, definitely makes me think Mahmoud is going to hate Nicole's budding friendship with Nouran.
The Egyptian men, they like a girl, they date her, and then they change her to fit with how he was raised up. But he never accepts her the way she is, you know? This is like extremely common, like maybe 90% of men, Egyptian men are like that.
Nicole is hanging on to Nouran's every word. Finally, someone who understands what she's going through. Someone who she can chat to about her experience, who won't judge her. Someone who can actually give her useful advice. And finally, someone she can just have a laugh with. Nicole's life has been so deadly serious for so many months now that it really feels like this is exactly what she needs.
Then you have to change the way you dress up. You have to change the people you talk to. Like, why do you talk to men? Why do you even have male friends? They have to make sure that everything is under control.
Nicole's mind is being blown right now. Nouran is describing her exact experience, and I can't help but feel that even if Nouran is planted for a script, for a storyline, which she may well be, it seems all too much of a coincidence. But even if she is, this is exactly the friend that Nicole needs. Look, Nicole has certainly made a lot of questionable decisions to find herself in the position she's now in. But let's not lose sight of the fact, let's not underestimate the experience of being in a controlling relationship, because that's exactly the kind of relationship Nicole is in.
They shower you with sweet words, but they don't believe in equality.
The love, though, you're right, though. There's so much love. That's the thing. Like, I've never, ever experienced that.
Love bombing. The term is called love bombing, and it's a manipulation tactic. I've literally called out Mahmoud in the past for his excessive use of endearments. How often he says, honey, I love you, I love you, I love you. He says it over and over again.
I love you so much.
I love you.
I love you more than anything.
You told me you love me like 100 times today. See?
I love you? Yeah, see? I always do, honey.
It's that over-the-top love that gets Nicole to drop her guard. And that's when the control tactics start. Now, to be clear, I don't think Mahmoud necessarily realises what he's doing. Nouran says that it's something a lot of Egyptian men do. But Nicole needs to stand up for herself, especially now that she can pinpoint what's going on.
For me, an American woman giving in to these rules for the sake of love, it makes me feel bad for her. I feel like I want to grab her and shake her and tell her, wake up, please, wake up.
Nouran definitely pities Nicole, and she's giving off the vibe that she thinks Nicole shouldn't follow any of the rules that Mahmoud is imposing on her. This is exactly what Nicole wants to hear, because we know that Nicole doesn't want to give in either. She wants Mahmoud to come round to see her perspective. So, while Nicole's feeling great and she now has a friend to back her, you get the feeling this is all going to be to the detriment of her marriage.
Today is the best I've felt since I've been to Egypt. I'm super inspired. I love Nouran. I feel like I've known her for 100 years, but I don't know how Mahmoud's gonna feel.
Yeah, that's definitely a fair concern to have. Now, speaking of Mahmoud, he's organised a date night. He takes Nicole to a street vendor that's serving a chickpea or garbanzo bean drink. It's a drink that Nicole likes, and Mahmoud seems like he's in a really good place. It looks like the not talking about our issues strategy is suiting him just fine.
I feel good about the past few months, but sometimes I feel Nicole not happy here. This is why I'm trying like take Nicole out and you want to show her like I love her and care about what she needs.
Nicole's not happy. How perceptive, Mahmoud. I wonder what gave it away. Maybe it's the 12 hours a day that Nicole just sits in her room or wanders around the apartment like a ghost. Here's the thing. Mahmoud claims that he loves her. He claims that he cares about what she needs. But when he's told by Nicole exactly what she needs, things like their own apartment, the freedom to dress herself, friends, well, then he won't do anything about it. He can tell that she's unhappy, but all he's willing to do is take her to a street vendor. And when Nicole starts to tell Mahmoud about her day, his reaction is very telling.
I was telling her my situation, how I kind of feel like I lose myself in the relationship a little bit. And she was talking about that we don't need to change ourselves.
Wow, Mahmoud, eye-rolling. Really? I'm honestly speechless. What happened to caring about what Nicole needs? Mahmoud is just all talk, and he's constantly shown us over and over again that when it comes down to it, he finds Nicole annoying. How else do you explain that reaction to Nicole opening up her feelings? She was happy and optimistic. She wasn't even blaming him for anything. Yet Mahmoud has no time for it.
When I be around my friend, like I never talk about my wife. It's not except I think we do. So this is why I feel strange when she talk with her about our relationship and it's the first time they met.
So why not just say that to Nicole instead of rolling your eyes at her? When Nicole does something that Mahmoud doesn't like, his reaction is always along the lines of, that isn't done here, it isn't accepted here. He always makes Nicole think that all of Egypt follows the same rules. But we know that's not true.
I had no idea that Egyptian culture wasn't just the way that I had seen it.
I feel like me and Nouran kind of think the same way.
So I think you and not mad anymore.
Is he joking or is he being serious? Mahmoud is definitely concerned about the ideas Nuran is putting in Nicole's head. And he's scared it will lead to more fighting between them. Nicole now has a friend, someone who's outside of Mahmoud's control, and that is making him sweat. We know that if he had his way, Nicole wouldn't be making friends outside of the family, just like his sister-in-law Fatima.
I don't feel like Nouran is like going to be a god friend for our relationship. If you friend with my wife, we will have more trouble.
I think you're right, Mahmoud. Nuran won't be a good friend for your relationship, but she might be a great friend for Nicole. It's just sad that those two things are so different. Now, Mahmoud's doing his best to bite his tongue. He can see how excited Nicole is to have a friend. But then, Nicole suggests that Mahmoud should meet Nuran. This is a recipe for disaster.
I don't know if they're gonna like each other, but I really want him to get that it's not just me who thinks these things, that there are other people in the world who think them too, and even women in Egypt.
Nicole has tried and failed in the past to get Mahmoud to cave on his rules. So now she's bringing in the big guns. Strong-minded, self-assured Nuran is going to come in and fight her battle for her, but I have a feeling this is going to backfire. Either way, Mahmoud agrees, and so the next evening they all meet for dinner.
I'm not sure how it will be. After what Nicole told me about her new friend, she had like a problem with men, I think, or something, so it makes me a little nervous.
I'm not sure if it was Nicole's terrible explanation of their conversation or whether Mahmoud is just being Mahmoud, but if he's going into this with the idea that Nuran hates all men, then this is inevitably going to go terribly. Nicole reveals that in the past Mahmoud has said that he'd like to vet her friends before she establishes any strong connections with them, which suddenly makes sense why he agreed to this meeting. Either way, Mahmoud promises to be on his best behaviour.
Oh, hi.
How's it going?
Good, how are you? Nice to see you. I'm so glad you could make it.
You look so pretty.
Oh, thank you. You too.
Alhamdulillah, tamam.
Look at the face that Mahmoud makes as Nuran walks in. He's obviously immediately judging her on appearance and what she's wearing. Seeing Nuran walk in a short summer dress with her arms out is such a stark contrast to Nicole. Nicole's own dresses have clearly become a lot more modest since she's been in Egypt. But something becomes very obvious as soon as Nuran sits down. This meeting may have had more to do with Mahmoud's desire to screen Nicole's friends than we initially thought.
So glad you were willing to meet my husband.
That's my pleasure too, but I have a lot of foreign friends here living in this country, but they never told me you need to meet my husband first. This is a bit weird.
Now earlier, the show made it seem like this was Nicole's idea.
You should meet her.
Okay.
Mahmoud and I had our talk about how much I want to hang out with her and become her friend. He was more okay with meeting Nouran.
But now, based on Nuran's first words, it becomes apparent that Nicole told Nuran that Mahmoud had to vet her friends. And Nuran is going to call it as she sees it. That is not normal. This immediately puts Mahmoud in a bad mood. Going into this, he already had a certain image of Nuran in his head, but now he's ready to make her seem like the villain. He claims that as an Egyptian, she should know that Egyptian men like to know what their wives are up to. Once again, that's an example of Mahmoud generalising all Egyptian men as being the same as him. But we know he's more conservative than most, and Nuran is ready to call him out.
Don't you trust her?
It's not about trust. Don't use that. Oh, you don't trust.
Yeah, but
her. I trust her. One second. She know I trust her more than anybody. But she go. 1 second.
Mahmoud is immediately on the defensive, and he's kind of embarrassing himself by acting like this after one little question. He can't even articulate what he's trying to say in response, yet he shuts down both women when they try to have an input in the conversation. It's not a good look, and Mahmoud knows it, but it seems like he resents and blames Nuran for putting him in this position. But Nuran isn't done yet. She asks Mahmoud if he'll allow Nicole to attend her yoga classes. Classes which also have men.
I'm not going to feel comfortable she's straight around man. To see a woman straight around me, I will love.
So now you're blaming the wrongdoings of men on Nicole or on women.
Nuran is not here to play around, but it's also interesting to watch what Nicole's doing. She's not really contributing anything to the conversation, but she is absolutely absorbed in what Nuran's saying, and also in Mahmoud's answers. When Mahmoud says that it's not okay for his wife to do yoga around men, period, end of discussion, that is not good enough for Nuran.
Our religion said it's haram my wife does that around people.
Haram?
Yes, haram.
Was it mentioned in Quran?
They never going to say yoga.
Mahmoud thinks that he's just nailed that answer, but Nuran's just sitting there shocked that Mahmoud doesn't even get the irony of what he just said. He said it himself, the Quran is never going to say that she can't do yoga. That is his interpretation of the text. Regardless, this conversation has got way too intense for two people meeting for the first time, and the atmosphere around the table is awkward.
Nouran is like the worst girl ever I met in my life, I think.
Usually, you start off, you don't really know each other. There's a little bit of like, oh, hi, how are you? But there was like none of that. It was just a battle. It's really interesting.
I've got no doubt that internally, Nicole is cheering on Nuran for everything she's saying. She's saying everything that Nicole's always wanted to say, but with more knowledge and more eloquence. Mahmoud has met his match. Nuran is someone who understands Egyptian culture and understands the religion. So he can't take advantage of her naivety like he has with Nicole. But will Nuran's educated responses help to get what Nicole wants? Or will they make Mahmoud more stubborn?
He said, men have don't look to women and the woman have to cover her body.
Oh, I'm covered. Or do I have to cover every part of skin?
Yes, this was clear.
Oh, no, it's not.
It's funny because Mahmoud doesn't even realise that he's just implicated himself here. In his own words, he said, God was clear, men shouldn't look at women. Yet, earlier he admitted that if a woman were to stretch out in front of him, he'd look.
It's weird to see a woman stretch around me. I will, I will love. Of course, if I seen a woman legs, I will see, 6 legs.
Oh, it turns on some girls, by the way.
Never.
So surely, by his own rules, that makes Mahmoud as bad as Nuran. The pair go back and forth for a while, and Nuran is obviously well versed in the Quran, because she confidently states that nowhere does it say that a woman must be covered head to toe and wear a veil, especially when it causes them to suffer, like in the Egyptian heat. Mahmoud is hating his life right now. He's got that classic small boy being told off look.
Why are you assuming now? There are women who like men's legs.
Never can happen.
Honey, I don't know if you can say that it would never turn somebody on.
That's a wrong perception.
No.
He's not willing to listen, he's not willing to learn, even when the two women are explaining to him something that's a female's experience, something they should know more about. Mahmoud just says no. But for me, the pinnacle of this conversation has to be when Mahmoud questions why God didn't give men boobs.
When God created us, why didn't create we are all have pops?
Because we need to feed the babies. This is biological differences. You think the boobs are there just to turn guys on?
Oh, I don't really know what to say. This isn't Mahmoud's finest hour, is it? He's just showing how stubborn he is, and Nicole seems to be enjoying watching Nuran take him down a peg. But Nicole has always admired Mahmoud's devotion, and now, with Nuran poking holes in it, you'd think that this whole conversation might be a turn-off for Nicole. Sadly, inexplicably, that doesn't appear to be the case. In fact, Nicole says she's proud of her husband.
I was actually really proud of my husband. He didn't storm off and be mad. He just told it like he knows it and never wavered from who he is, which is really standard Mahmoud.
Someone please make it make sense. Her husband just acted like an uneducated, rude child. There's nothing to be proud of there. But hey, it's precisely this reaction that explains why she's 3 years deep into a marriage that makes her so miserable.